Hi Padmini and Satish, this is Riddhi with Prospect Mortgage. This is what we were talking about a couple days ago. I have done your Excel spreadsheet and showing you all the numbers and making my recommendations. This is what I would suggest what you need to do. So this is your current. I have compared your current mortgage that's there already, your new 10-1 arm. This is what I'm suggesting, and then the 15 years and the 20 years. In all these options, at present time you have two loans, and what I've done is I've combined the two loans into one loan, so that you have a whatever rate you're going to get, whatever program you're going to get is going to stay fixed. So we are going to assume, I looked at the automatic valuation model, so your value comes up to around 410,000. So if we were to get the 410,000 value, if you combine both the loans at 260, 140 and 120 to 260, you are more than 60%. So when you combine a home equity line that was done at a later date, not at the time of purchase, it's considered a cash out. So you have a little bit of a higher rate if you were not going to combine, but it's only 1/8 higher, not a whole lot. Um, the reason you're doing it because you want the stability of having a fixed rate. You don't want to sit and worry about it. So this is what we are doing. So you have a loan amount of 140,000, you said, right now remaining. I plugged it in that you got it in 2003, and you started with around 245,000. Since you're in a 15-year program, the amount that's outstanding is 140,000. You said your payment is 1937 on that. The loan amount for second is 120,000, and your interest rate is 2.25. I know you said you pay only 225, but there is no way this calculator will let me do an interest only, because there are no interest only programs. They have to, when they're underwriting, they always have to assume something is being paid towards principal. So instead of 225, it comes up at 333. So your total payment as of right now is 2271. Obviously does not include taxes or anything, because that has no bearing in my opinion, because you're going to do your taxes and insurance are going to stay the same. Now let's look at what we can get on a 10-1 arm. So we combine the loan, 260,000. Interest rate is 4.125 is what I can get on a 10-1 arm today. It's amortized over 30 years instead of 183.60. Then we have a payment of $1,260. That's what our payment will drop down to, from 1937 to 1260. And since we don't have another payment at all, our total payment or another loan, because we combine them, our payment is 1260. So we're saving almost $1,011. Now let's look at the 15 years. Again, 260, combination of first and second. We can get 3.875 today. Payment comes to 1907, pretty similar to what we have here. But look at the amount difference. It's 260, just 140. Then we have no second, so our payment is 1907 as opposed to 200, 2271. The last one is the 20 years, again 260 loan amount. Rate is 4.375, amortized over 240 months or 20 years. Our payment is 1627. We get to a payment of 1627, difference of 643. Now what I did was over 36 months. Your blended rate for these two, if the rate was to stay the same, comes to 4.096, which is very attractive. But again, our problem is we are not paying anything towards the principal, and this will change. So our total payment, if we were to make these payments at this point, your total payment in 36 months will be 81,748. A daunting number, I know. You would have paid 56,507. Your interest in MI, there is no MI, just the interest, 25,241. Your balance left would be 203,493. And on total cost will be 25, because we reduce the principal paid from the payments, because obviously you're building equity in the house. So in the 10-1 arm, very similar numbers, and you're going to ask me why are they similar when I was saving $1,000. What I plugged in here was, I said we're going to make the same payment. I put in the $1,000 in here that you are making already, so that your payment comes to very similar, and you will pay 29,073, and your balance would be a little bit higher, but you would have paid off 52,000 and you would have paid off 29. So a little bit more here. This is in 3 years better to stay in this program, but the catch is we don't know if this rate will change. This one is going to stay fixed for 10. Now in the 15-year again, I assumed we are going to make the same payment, so I took the 364 and pretended that we are making the same payment. Still a little bit of savings, but this one is still better savings. In 20 years we have no savings, and we would have made 82,000. Our balance left would be 208. Most expensive option here. But let's go down and I'll show you what happens in 5 years. 5 years, your equity is going to increase by 67,000 to 41 because we are paying extra towards. In 15 years, same thing. All these things are increasing because we are paying extra principal. But look at this. In 10 years, what will happen? This is just the first loan. And the first loan, you would be paid off in 6.58 years. Okay? Because you've been paying it at a faster pace. In 10-1 arm, because you already in your term, you have already paid 8 years, you only have 6 or 7 years remaining. That's why you're paying off earlier. In 10-1 arm, we would be paid off in 12.17 years. I know, twice the amount. In 15 years, we would be paying off in 11.92. In 20 years, we'll be paying off in 12.25. But the problem is here. We have 20 years for us to pay off the second loan, because we have no second loan here. So there is no payment and there is no time needed. So when you pay off, this whole thing would have been paid in 12.17, the 260. But in this case, even though you would be done with your 15 year, it will still go on for another 20 years for you to get done with the 120. Same thing here. We would have been paid off with the entire 260 in 11.92. And in third year, in the third option, we will be paid off in 12.25 just by making the same payments that you're making now. You're not doing anything else, keeping the same payments, paying off. Let me show you the other page. Total payment 1937, 1260, 1907, 1627. This is where the payment reduction, if you can look at a term reduction. We paid 1011 every month extra, made the same payment 2271, 370 here, 2271, 671, 2298, and that's how we come to those numbers. I'm gonna send it to you. Give me a call. I know you had also asked me, you wanted to pull out another 20 to 30,000. My recommendation would be, let's not pull out from this, because our rate might be, we could probably do that, since we're already paying for it. Depends on where the value comes in. Or what we could do is we could keep your home equity line open, the one you have, because it is at 2.25 and it's a small amount that you're looking. Maybe you could pay that off faster and use the 2.25 and leave this at where it is, so that you get the benefit of having a fixed rate for the bulk of your payment and very small amount on the 25,000 on 2.25. Because if you were to continue to pay $1,000 extra, within 2 years you would be paid off with that. You would be paying off 24,000, pretty much paying off that loan. So that would be my recommendation. Call me and I'll go over that again. What we are going to do is, where is that 24,000 coming? Instead of paying the 1,011 here, we'll take the same 1,000 paid towards the 24 or 25 that we're borrowing on 2.25 and pay it off and get done with it. So I'm going to send it to you. Give me a call. We'll talk. The rates are going up and down, not a whole lot, but I would say I would do it sooner than later if you guys want to move forward. And all these options are without any closing costs. We will pay your closing costs. You won't have to. So, and I'm going to assume your credit scores are very good, so I based it on that. Give me a call. The best number to reach me is 630-660-6376. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you soon.